There's actually only one extra little part with conditional rendering that I'd like to cover right now, and that has to do with using the logical AND operator. You may be used to using the logical AND operator to refer to something on the left and something on the right as booleans in determining whether the entire condition should be considered true or false. So for example, true and false would be false because with the AND operator, both sides need to evaluate to something truthy in order for the whole thing to be true. Well, in reality, under the hood, what JavaScript is doing is with the AND operator, it's determining the truthiness of the thing on the left. And if the thing on the left is truthy, it just immediately returns the thing on the right, which means when it's true and false, it returns false because that's the thing on the right. If the thing on the left is falsy, then it just returns false right from the beginning. And so the AND operator can be a way to conditionally render something if a condition is true, or just render nothing if it's false. So with this little example that I've created, I've added some unread messages in state as an array of strings. And you can see here it says you have 2 unread messages because the length of the array is 2, but a lot of times you wouldn't necessarily want it to say you have 0 unread messages. You may just want it to instead not have any h2 there at all. Okay, using the ternary that we learned in the last lesson, I could say something like wrap this whole thing in curly braces and then say essentially if this dot state dot unread messages dot length greater than 0, then render this array, but otherwise render nothing. So I could just say null. Let me clean this up a little bit. It's a little easier to read. But I can simplify this a little bit by getting rid of my ternary and my null and just saying check the truthiness of this dot state dot unread messages dot length is greater than 0. And so in other words, if that's true, then render this part. However, if it's false, it will just render nothing. And we can see on our screen, there's nothing there. Once I add some unread messages back, it shows up. So the AND operator isn't strictly necessary because you could most of the time just use the ternary where one of the results is null, but this can really kind of simplify it just a little bit. And you may be seeing this every now and then in the code that you look at with other people's React code. So that's pretty much it with conditional rendering. Let's go ahead and move on.